Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. It is Tuesday morning, back with his good friend, Matt, the lumberjack landlord. How you doing, sir?
I'm clearly losing my touch. I'm tired from the last video.
You got a little animated, man. That other channel has,
it's in my brain.
yeah,
It's in my brain. The lies are banging around on the inside, and there's plenty of room in there.
he's got free rent right now.
He does. He does. He's gonna get evicted.
Oh, I am gonna look forward to your daily reaction videos.
Oh my word,
that's gonna be awesome. So, what I wanted to talk about here is we try to help people get started in real estate investing. I just want to have an honest discussion that, you know what, I just want to say it. Maybe you're not ready. Maybe there are some, real estate investing takes work and money, and there's a lot of you out there that have an interest, but you're not ready, or it's not for you yet, or you got other stuff going on in your life. Go take care of that. So I can think of 3 or 4 things, but before I jump in, when I say that, what do you think?
I think you're right. I think there's a ton of money in the market. Mm-hmm. And if you don't care whether or not you lose it, go buy a house.
Yeah.
I talked to a couple of people this week. They have absolutely gobs of money. They're like, what do you think about this deal? I was like, well, how does it compare to what you typically see in that market? Not sure.
Yeah, I get that all the time.
Well, guess what? If you're not sure, I'm certainly not sure, and I'm not doing the work for you.
Yeah.
So
I get that all the time, right? Yeah. What is an average deal in your market? I don't know. Well, then how the hell am I supposed to know? What the hell?
Yeah, I haven't done your market. It's thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think largely speaking, I think that there is a percentage that either A, isn't financially ready.
Yeah.
Or B, has watched too much HGTV and thinks that everything happens in 30 minutes or an hour.
Yeah. And
it doesn't. It's a process. And, for all of us, I mean, you've done over 50 flips. I've done, at least that many renos, maybe even more, just because we reno pretty much everything we buy. As soon as somebody moves out, we reno it. And so I can tell you that I have a process, and I can tell you that I congratulate somebody if you do your first one, or even your second one. If you do your first or your second one and you didn't lose money, you won.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. And you're going to make less than you expected, but as long as the number's positive, you won.
You won. Yeah, you won. And so I think that there are a lot of people that haven't done all the work that's needed to understand either A, the financial side of things, and B, making sure the market side, how that fits in. In my market right now, you can kind of fall on a deal that gives you 8 points. The issue is that the elite guys are closing deals that are 20 plus points.
Wow.
And so you can get an 8-point deal, and that's pretty good compared to other markets per se, but it's not good compared to this market. Right. So why would you tie your money up in an 8% return deal in a market where that's below average?
So the first thing, you're absolutely right, we can talk about is, if you haven't done the work, you're walking into a casino, picking a number on the roulette wheel. It might work out.
Sure.
Maybe.
Yep.
Well, probably not, at least not as much as you expect. So yeah, if you're not willing to, what I tell people all the time, right? How to get started one rental at a time. Of course, we're both a part of Facebook group, all of that. If you're not spending 60 days at least to learn average, I can't help you. I won't. Right. If you haven't done the work, you ask me a question, I'll be like, you're not getting a minute of my time. I've spent so much time now, 5,000 plus videos, the path, the work, do this, buy box, focus, daily discipline. If you're going to walk in and say, what do you think about this deal? You don't know average. Good luck. Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine call me on a deal. He said, hey, last year, these houses sold for $350. And he goes, I have multiple friends that sold their houses for $500. $350 they bought them for last year. They sold for $500 this year. And they said, okay, so how much cash flow does it make on a monthly basis when you rent it? I don't know. We're done here. I said, do you want me to treat you like somebody that, that we've never met, and I want to kind of walk you through the process? He goes, yeah. I go, I just need your address again. I need to come down and hit you with a hammer.
We're done.
And he goes, what? Why? I said, because buying for appreciation is the loser's path to broke.
Yeah, exactly.
It just is. And you can do it over a 10 or 20 year period, but do you want to be throwing money into that deal every single month for the next 20 or 30 years? You probably don't.
Alligator.
Right. So you got to have a deal that makes money after expenses. You have to have a deal that doesn't only take appreciation into account. And you need a deal that literally on a monthly basis makes you better than market returns.
Yes.
Period.
Learn average, get good or great.
That's it.
So the next one I want to talk about is if you're an individual that doesn't handle money well, right? If you can't have $1,000 or $4,000 or whatever it is for you emergency fund and not touch it for 3-4 months in a row, you don't be a real estate investor. Bad stuff happens, stuff breaks, you'll get surprises. They happen in threes. You're going to go bust. And you know who you are. I know people in my family who bust their ass to save $1,000. It's like, Michael, I finally got my emergency fund. I talked to him 4 months later, sitting on a new iPhone or whatever it is. I'm like, oh, it was on sale, so I had to buy it. So where's your, oh, I'll do it again.
Not an emergency.
Not an emergency fund if you're touching it, right? So again, if that is you and you can't comfortably sit on $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 and not touch it, you're not ready to be a real estate investor. What do you think?
I don't disagree at all. You have to be disciplined. I mean, we had so much bad happen to us in 2008, and I don't know that it's going to be exactly the same, but it could be bad. And we're better positioned this time to handle it. I almost went bankrupt 3 times back then because literally crash happened. 5 out of 6 tenants or 7 out of 8 tenants, I think, stopped paying entirely. Well, for those of us who are any good at math, you can't make your nut when 2 out of 9 pay.
Yeah.
You can't. You're throwing money into that till every month. And that was the job market doing what happened. And so now what did we learn from that? We learned that we have, a much higher either emergency fund, or we have far less capital in the game than we used to. And we run with larger, wider margins. If for some reason we need to sell, when we do a cash out refi, we don't take the guy who's willing to give us 90%. We take the guy who's giving us 70. Exactly. Because we'll leave 30% there. If there's a market correction, 20%. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Doesn't hurt me a bit. My 30-year fixed rate debt doesn't change. All that stuff remains the same.
Yeah. Then the next one, the kind of final one I think about here is if you are not living below your means, right? So again, do the math, right? This is budgeting and get your money right course. If your income is $5,000, but you're spending $5,500, you need to start somewhere else before you start real estate investing. You have a spending problem. Maybe it's an income problem a little bit as well, but yeah, until you're routinely saving money every month, which will allow you to do the income snowball and buy and buy and buy, you're not ready. You will just get frustrated. You manage your money better.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, that's the process that I go through because I'm usually starting in a different age group than one rental at a timers. I'm usually starting like either still in college or just out of college. They have the world as their oyster. They got their first job. It might be paying them 60 or 70 grand a year. And they're like, whoa, that's all the money in the world. But you haven't accounted for your school loan payment starting in 6 months. You haven't accounted for the fact that, you for some reason decide that you need to have a new car right now.
Yeah.
Because
the
you
new whip.
because you graduated college. There's all these things that go into it where people make a bunch of these bad decisions that then set themselves up for the next 5 years. They're like, you know what? We're getting out of the apartment where there's 4 of us and we're getting into an apartment where I'm moving, they don't want to move home. They want to move into their own place, like a studio. And all of a sudden their rent goes from $500 as a share to $1,200 as a single.
Yeah.
It's like, and boom, before you know it, it's like, wow, I don't know where my money goes every single month. And now you're in the rat race and you're on the ride and now you got to take the pain to get off of it.
They gotcha. Yeah.
Gotcha.
The rat race is real.
100%.
So again, I think real estate investing is amazing. I think it's the best path to a financial future, all of these things, but it's not for everybody at every time. Sometimes you got to go back and take care of things. And the big ones for me is one, if you're not willing to do the work, full stop. And then again, sometimes we have money habits that we need to clean up before we get in because real estate investing takes money. It just does. Sometimes it takes money for down payment. Sometimes there's emergencies, taxes, insurance. Yeah. So I think it's fabulous, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's for everybody. So
it can't be for everybody. One of the things that I think is hard is that, people that say, well, do you think you're better than somebody else? Here's the thing. Do I think I'm a better person? No. Do I think my life is more valuable? No. Here's what I would tell you. There's Manny Ramirez or Michael Jordan just as much as there's Mark Lemke and, pick some other known Brian Scalabrine. That's the world, right? And so I want to be elite. So I've done all the work all the time, some natural gifting, sure, some, but things click on and you start to get it. You start to see your momentum. You start to see that you're understanding more and more and more. That's where I think the difference comes into play is that, but you're putting in the work. You're putting in the work. Yeah. And so I think a lot of people can be successful in this endeavor if they do the work, they have a program and a process that they're working through. And then it's a matter of how big you want to get it. Mike and I still don't know how big we want to get.
Nope.
Still
know. Growing.
I asked yesterday and I said, I had no idea. They're like, they laughed at me. They said, how can you not know? I go, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll still keep, now I've got 20 years worth of knowledge, 20 years worth of relationships, 20 years worth of understanding. Now it's a little bit easy. It's certainly a lot easier than it was.
Why would I stop now?
Yeah. Why would I be like, top of my game, I'm just going to stop. No, I'm not leaving on top. I'm not Michael Jordan. Yeah. So anyway, I just think that a lot of people can do this. I think that the differentiators are willing to do the work. That's the biggest thing that separates the wins from the losses is Agreed. People willing to do the work, and you're going to lose in those battles. You got to get back up and be willing to deal with it. Your first few weren't very good.
No,
my first few weren't very good, but we knew that it was like, okay, we learned and we tweaked and we massaged and we changed and we pivoted. And now look at us, and the life is a whole lot different. Every day Saturday for you.
There you go. Every day Saturday, man. How can people find you?
Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube and 11:30 a.m. Eastern time on Sundays, live streams on my channel.
There you go, man. Thanks again.
Thanks, Mike.